I don't think it likes to let us go early. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Tonight we gonna give the drummer some. Good evening to each and every one of you, and welcome, welcome, welcome to another rendition of Music Lovers LTD, our live Friday night podcast show. Give yourselves a nice round of applause. We're glad to be here with you. We were off last week because of the holiday, and I hope that everybody had a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Ate as much barbecue as you possibly can because that season is now, well, barbecue season is never over, but it's officially over according to everybody, according to the map or the schedule or what have you. But we eat barbecue all year round, so it don't make no difference. Anyway, I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday. We are back here tonight. We are going to give the drummer some. We're giving the drummer some. We have Mr. Robert Mousey Thompson, who is our guest, was a drummer for the legendary James Brown, another legend that has come from the tree, the James Brown family tree. He's going to talk to us about his experiences, this, that, or the other. And I'm going to stop talking. We're going to jump right on in here now. Mousey, how you doing, my brother?
Man, it's a blessing, man, to be here, man. I thank you guys for having me. Yes, indeed. Everything's
Absolutely,
great.
absolutely, absolutely. We were just talking off mic when you and I met each other a couple of months ago in Maryland at one of my friends, or your as our friends, if you will, which I didn't even know that our friends reviving their wedding vows.
Hmm.
And it was a really, really, really good show. Velma put it together very, very nicely. And talking to you was really, really a treat. And I told you that night, I got to get you on the show. Got to
Yes,
get
you
you on the
did.
show, man. Got to get you on the show. So
Thank you,
I
brother.
told you that we've had Fred Wesley on several times. We just had Martha High on, and she's another descendant of the James Brown tree. Tell us, if you would, Mousy, how you got started with James Brown and how you become to be one of the drummers, if you will.
Well, I was fortunate enough to work, had the guy by the name of Larry Friday, was one of the lawyers, part of the team that got Mr. Brown out of prison for that last stint that he was in. And I went down and auditioned, and make a long story short, I got the job. He said, "Welcome to the family, son." And it was on and moving after that point.
that was a how long was the tryout, if you will, or if that's what you want to call it.
Well, it was funny, man, because it was like I didn't know. I went down there totally wrong. Mr. Brown was against baseball caps, sweatpants, sneakers, and that's what I had on. So, when I'm coming down to get on the bus, the guys in the band, they was like, "Nah, you got to go back upstairs, man. You have anything else other than that?" So I went back upstairs. Excuse me. I had a suede short set, with the suede on the front,
Okay.
suede on my pockets. They said, "Nah, you got to go up there and put a suit and tie on, man. You got a suit." Fortunately, I had some slacks and some shoes. One of the guys let me borrow the tie. I said, "Man, we got to go like this all the time." He said, every time.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I went down there. I finally got there, and they rotated drums. Then he turned to me and said, "Welcome to the family, son." I
Okay.
was one of the fortunate ones to sit in the seat. But I think it was it was drum kits everywhere, drummers everywhere. And I couldn't believe it. Larry Friday made it seem as though I'd had the gig anyway. So I went down there and looked more confident than not knowing that I had to audition. So
Okay.
it was like, woo. And he had some great drummers come in there. So I don't know, what got me there. I know what got me there was the man upstairs, my man.
Okay.
And he was like, "Here's another blessing for you." And I took it and ran with it.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. Let me
Yeah.
step back and let some of the other folks come in. Let the professor come in because she been saving this one since 1938, man. She knows what.
Good evening.
Good
How
evening.
are you? Thank you for joining us. So I really want to start with I understand that your drumming can be heard on some blockbuster movies and some popular variety and talk shows. Would you like to tell us which ones that we would recognize?
See
Well,
what I mean? See what I mean,
we,
Mouse? Mousey,
oh
see what
yeah,
I mean? She been saving this one. See what I
yeah,
mean?
we've done. I mean, the Tuxedo. I've done. Arsenio Hall.
Oh,
Bonnaroo, Woodstock. Everything that Mr. Brown was pretty much on from 13 until since not from 93 up till 2006. Anything he was doing, GQ awards, BET awards. When Michael Jackson came out, that was me playing drums. It's just yeah, everything. I mean, a whole lot of TV shows.
all right. You
And the
got you,
Black Eyed Peas. I recorded on the Black Eyed Peas. They don't want music. All they want is boom, boom, boom. That's
Yeah.
me on that. And a couple other things that I'm not even sure what I'm on.
Way to start off, Professor.
Okay.
Drew, come on in, bro. How you doing?
Yes, sir. Hey, Mousy, how you doing? I hope you don't mind me
What's
calling you
going on,
Mousy.
dude?
Man. I had a cousin named Mousy, so it always sticks with me.
Right
James
on.
Brown had a rep, James Brown had a reputation for finding people for anything. Uh, were you ever fined by either James Brown, Wilson Pickett, or some of the other guys you started out with?
I was fine by Brown, yeah, but he never really took it. Because, like I said, during the time I got there, all of that kind of stuff had mellowed out. But at the same time, he would say, he'd flash that hand, and you wouldn't know what it was. It could be 5, 10, 15, 20. And that 20 could be 200, 100. You never knew. It's like, oh, he said,
Okay.
I got you this time. I'm going to let you slide. But next time, I'm going to take your money. So
Long live.
he would definitely give it to you.
Okay. Was Wilson like that as well?
No, me and Wilson had one problem. I
Okay.
was, I was doing a gig with him, and the MD gave me the money. Curtis Pope gave me some money, and I said, hey, man, this ain't all my money. He said, well, you got to go talk to Pickett. I said, and I did. So I went in there. I said, Pickett, this is not what I agreed to do, blah, blah, blah with. He says, I'm going to give you your money, but I don't ever want to see you back.
Oh,
So
wow.
Wow.
he gave me what I made, then gave me my money, that I said that I was going to get. And he said, I don't never want to see you again.
Oh,
So
wow.
I went home, I got home safely, everything. Next morning, early morning, I want to see you in New York. So those are the things that you had to be having a tough skin with, to
Ah,
be able to deal with these kind of cats. They fire you 1 minute and hire you the next. Now the
ah.
Okay.
opposite of Mr. Brown is he got me a little hot, and I just stood up off the drum and put my drumsticks on the floor tom. He said, son, you don't want to do that. He said, let me fire you because your chances of coming back are much better. I said, real smart. I said, thank you, sir. I sat down.
Okay. Mhm.
That's funny. That's funny. If I could, let me jump in there before I ask Didi to come in. Now, was that because of something that you did wrong? You missed a note, you missed a beat, or whatever. And I'm talking about with Brown now.
No, it was more of his attitude, because,
Okay.
we were always on eggshells when he walked in.
Mhm.
And it was pretty much, he was getting on somebody. And I'm like, I told you, like, I wish he would curse sometimes. But it made you feel, it, you know, it's so low you can sit on a dime and swing your legs, So,
Yeah.
so I mean, man, but, because he was a little man, but he make you feel so, ah. But,
Right.
but for the most part, you learn from it. And that's what I took. It
Okay.
was like, stay here and get this lesson, man, because this is James Brown. This is who got you into music.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
had to understand that soul. That's what we call soul, because those are the hits, and and I had to understand that to make these people feel his music, to play behind him that long, because he could have
Okay.
really got rid of me, but he
Okay.
kept me there.
Okay. Now that Brown versus Pickett. I mean, like I told you, we shared some of the stories that I've heard and what have you about Pickett. But Pickett he wasn't like Brown, a strong disciplinarian. That's how Brown was. But what was Pickett? Was it just
Pickett
off
was
field?
loose. Pickett was loose and soulful. He was just soulful. He took what you got, but he said, "Don't mess up my music." He wouldn't say quite like that, And the explicit. I can't even say it.
Yeah,
Those words I can't say
I
on
got you.
live TV.
Right, I got you.
But
I got you.
yeah, but he was real serious about his music. Both were. I
Okay.
mean, all of the guys that I've worked with in those days, you know how they are. It was about them taking the stage.
Right.
And whoever come on behind, you better make sure that you did your job to make them not want to come on after you.
Right. Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, I worked with Rufus and Carla Thomas, and Rufus Thomas was a tyrant too with me. He called me Rat. And I used to hit the bell, the top of the bell. Stay off the bell, Rat. Stay off the bell. And so it's little things, and I thank God, I was young, but I was able to understand discipline, and, everything ain't about what I want to do.
Right.
So you have to play the part, and if
Right.
and sometimes you don't want to play the part, but you say, hey, this is what it takes to get the job done.
Right.
Do the best you can. And that's
Right.
how I've been with any artist that I work with. I want to give them my all to what they see in me to put it out there, what they need.
Okay. We had Candy Staten's son on a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about how it ain't about you. You're doing the job. Your job is just to do the job and then move on. And if they like you, obviously going to keep you. And then, when they ask you to give the drummer some, then you can give the drummer some. But if they don't ask you to do that, you go exactly the way it's supposed to be played and what have you.
Oh,
And
no doubt.
to my listening and viewing audience, I just want to throw this in there. There was a how should I say this, Mousey? Was there a feud between James Brown and Wilson Pickett? Oh, should I say?
Well, it was funny because, Pickett would always say, don't dance. Don't dance. So, both of them could scream in key. And that was something that, so like I say, they're soulful.
Right.
So the only thing that Brown pretty much had over Pickett was the dance.
Okay.
Because they both sang from the heart. They both were, iconic, vocalists.
Okay.
And they brought so much to us, from who they are.
Okay. Got you. All right, let me back out. DD, come on in, babe.
Mr. Mousey, it said that you were a singer at one time too.
Oh yeah, I did. Yep.
Could you elaborate?
Well, I did a solo album, it was picked up with the record company over in London. Then I brought it back over here, worked with Miss Betty Wright at her studio, and she happened to sing on it. And her husband, King Sporty, was my executive producer. Him and Samuel Lou. And on the CD is Al Johnson, who, the late great Al Johnson. He was my producer, and arranger for the stuff that I had written, and he produced it for me. And it's it's still out there. You can pull it up. I think you like it.
Okay.
It's called Tell Me Pretty Lady.
I was just talking about Al Johnson to John Wilson last night. We were on the phone talking. I was just talking about him last night. Just talking about him. Great guy. Leader of the leader of Unifics. Very talented guy. Very talented.
Man. Nobody here. I haven't found anyone else like him. I mean, Al was so incredible, man. I mean, he was one of the guys that could read a book, and you could find and flip a page and say, okay, Al, what was on page blah, blah, blah. and he'd tell you.
Is that
And
right? Wow.
that's the true statement.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
tested him on it.
Okay. Okay. I never tested him, but I have many conversations with him and many shows I've done with him. He was a good cat, man. Really good
Oh,
cat.
no doubt,
Yeah.
man.
Good. Drew, come on in, Drew.
Do you first? I see that you played at Woodstock, or the Woodstock reunion. I wasn't aware of. Is that the actual Woodstock or the second Woodstock, which I think was a
Oh, that was
reunion?
the actual Woodstock in 1999, the one that they tore up everything.
Okay.
But we went, fortunate enough, we opened up that Woodstock. I mean, we opened up Woodstock
Okay.
as
Okay.
far as the first act to go on. So we hit it and quit it, and we got up out of there.
Okay. Okay. All right. What
All
type
right.
what type of experience was that?
Oh, it was great. I mean, because we were over, I think in Europe somewhere, and we flew in. They bust us in. I mean, looking at all those people out there, you would wonder, well, how are they going to get out of here? But man, I was so glad they got us in and got us out, because that was,
Okay.
I was
Okay.
able to see it on film.
That's
Ah.
awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good question, Drew. Come on in, Professor.
So, did you expect your work to do with James Brown's? I guess the name of the band was the Soul Generals,
Hmm.
to take you all over the world touring? And how did you adapt to that?
It was true blessing. I didn't, I thought that we would be able to go on, but it got a little bit discombobulated because, you got to realize Mr. Brown pretty much created a whole bunch of MDs, and everybody wants to take charge in certain instance, and I think it would never be right without him. But to emulate with the band, it was like that was a challenge too much, I think, and nobody really touched it. I don't understand it. But we had a lot to give, but it had to be somebody out front or some creative spark to make it happen. And that's why I'm surprised that my James Brown experience has really taken off. And I thought the actual band would get the gigs that I'm getting, but
Okay.
they won't. I don't know why people won't touch the whole thing. So, but it's out of
Okay.
my hands. He's not here, and my thing was working with him pretty much anyway.
Well, I know that you're happy about it anyway. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm loving it. I'm loving
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Come on in, DD.
Excuse me. The you would they say that you played behind Bootsy as well, Bootsy Collins?
I've worked with Bootsy. I've done some recording stuff with Bootsy, but I didn't take the gig. I didn't take the actual gig. But he had called me up a few times trying to get me to come out and go out with him, and I was already doing some other things. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
But we
Mouse,
still stay in touch. We still stay in touch and everything. Maybe
cool.
something comes up.
Cool. Because I'll be calling you to put me in touch with him so we can get him on the show. I'd love to get Bootsy on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we just want to stare at each other while he wears those star glasses. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Listen, Mousey, I know that there's so many, and I mean literally so many shows that you've done. Give us one or two shows that were one of your all-time favorites, and who was on the show with you.
I would say the BET Awards. And that's when they were giving Mr. Brown a Lifetime Achievement Award. And nobody knew Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson had been, in hiatus forever.
Okay.
And that was like one of his first time, coming back out on stage in the public. And we were like, we had just finished Sex Machine. Bup, 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 bup. And Mr. Brown had bent over and Michael Jackson came out and put the cape on her.
Wow.
So the next thing you know, we started back in the groove, and then Michael Jackson started his thing before he, gave him his presentation.
Okay.
But I mean, it was a blessing for me to get that little bit of time with him to play behind him as well.
Okay. Okay. Now this was all. This wasn't. You. In other words, this wasn't pre-recorded, and you knew it was going to happen.
No, nobody knew it was going to happen. Nobody knew Michael Jackson was coming out to bring, or present him that award.
Wow,
I
that
mean,
is
and
awesome.
to order and to put the cape on him. So you can definitely look it up. You'll see it.
Right, right, right. That's awesome. That is awesome, man. The BET Awards. That is awesome. We got some viewers out there. Super Dave is checking us out. Dave, thanks for joining us, brother. We're talking to Robert Mousey Thompson. They call him Mousey, drummer for the Godfather. Tonight we're giving the drummer some, baby. We're giving the drummer some. Drew, come on in.
Okay, Mousey, Europe versus USA. Can you give us one of the best shows that you endured in Europe as well as in America? What shows stand out that really got you your blood flowing between
Well,
those
Good
two?
question, Drew. Good question.
we did there's two things over in Europe I've done. And that was Night of the Proms. That was with Joe Cocker, Shaggy, and
One of my favorites.
it was like a 70-piece orchestra I had to work behind
Oh
with
wow!
Brown. Yeah, we had 70 pieces. I mean, from choir to strings, cello, everything. I mean, it was amazing. And we did that for like 4 weeks, but we would only play 3 songs. So I was in Belgium for 3 weeks. All the rest of the time was mine. We hit it and quit it. So I mean, it was a beautiful time there. And then the other time is when we did Pavarotti and Friends, when James Brown and Pavarotti sang Man's World.
Yes, I remember
Okay.
that. I've seen the video on that. I was going to ask you if you was a part of that that performance as well. That was memorable for sure.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
then at home, it
Right.
was being able to do a live one of the live show at the Apollo Theater, which it was 1995, live at the Apollo, James Brown, that album.
Okay.
So to be able to do that was historic for me to know that his ladder with the Apollo Theater and everything. So
Okay.
to be able to come back and record with him there, it was like,
I can imagine. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Really awesome. You know what my favorite song is on that album? Hey, hey, I feel all right. One time.
oh
That's
yeah.
my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite song on there, man. Because you don't hear that on the radio. I know I play it, but you don't hear that often. I love that
Oh
song.
yeah.
Hit me 4 times. And wait a minute now, y'all going too fast. Let me do it. Let me do it.
Yeah.
All right, come on in, Professor.
What advice would you give an upcoming professional drummer?
I would just say, do your craft. I mean, make your craft your own, and understand that once you get yours together, the mindset too is able to, keep your mindset together to understand. You have to be flexible. Just don't lock in on one thing. Try to do it all, play different genres of music, put yourself in it.
That's great advice. That's great advice. That's very similar to what we talked to what Candy State and Son said the other day, the other night when we had him on. Very similar. Be sort of like a chameleon. You got to play a little bit of everything, do a little bit of everything. Good question, Professor. Come on in, DD.
Now, other than James Brown and Wilson Pickett, who was one of your favorite artists to perform with?
Ooh, good question.
That's hard. Well, believe it or not, the band that I had here, it was called Finesse. I had a guy by the name of Jeffrey Walker. He sounded just like Patti LaBelle, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. He sounded just like Patti. I had, Mike Scott, the guitarist that played with Prince, he was Reverend Scott. And we were only 5 pieces, but we went around. I mean, we had subs, we had almost a tractor trailer of equipment. So, but we were a powerhouse with 5 pieces. But during that time, it was you know, and I thank God for getting me out of it, because I have no shame in saying, you know, I was hooked on cocaine. I was abusing drugs, you know, as far as smoking a lot of weed, which I, you know, and but doing a lot of drinking alcohol. So to be able to get out of that stint and to then to get the call to go with James Brown, that was a blessing. It was truly blessing. But
Okay.
I've worked with one of the other good artists I've had. That was with Peaches and Herb, because that was an open door to the world tour. And that gave me a chance to go to Philippines, China, Japan. You know, it was like almost getting on a subway, just going,
Okay.
Mm.
you know, in places I would never think I would go. You know, people save up money to take these trips. So I didn't take it, you know, for granted. You know, I was like, it was a real blessing to understand, to be able to go over these, you know, these waters and make it back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Good question. Good question, JD. On behalf of music lovers, Drew, Professor, and DD, we tip our hat to you for allowing us to look into your personal life. What you just put out there about the drugs and this, that, and the other. It's some of it is known, some of it is not known. But the times that you were living in, being an entertainer, a high-profile entertainer, that was the way of life. I know that we know that because of the different people that we've talked to. But for you to disclose that on your own, we tip our hat to you and say thank you so much. We really do. We really appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
That tells a lot about you as a person, in your growth, in your maturation, and being in this business. Because I don't think it's very few people that we've had on the show that can come from that time frame that was not involved some way, somehow, some shape with the drugs, the alcohol, because that was just a way of life. That was it.
Oh yeah,
When you get the
yeah,
show, you go to the joint and get the chicken wings, and you get the cocaine. You get the
yeah.
chicken wings and you get a drink.
It was party. I mean, and the band that I had, I mean, we were that good. We worked Tuesday through Sunday here
Okay,
in town. I mean, we were better known as the Beltway Tour Band. And
okay,
mind you now, I mean, I was drinking every night, snorting cocaine every night. I mean, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I don't do any of that. I'm 68 years old. And then
okay,
as soon as I quit cold turkey, I cried like a baby. I was selling it and doing, you know, and I said I cried because I saw all this stuff in my apartment, and I actually threw it all over off my balcony. And
okay,
I did it on my own. And then
okay.
as soon as I got myself together, or I thought I was together, the blessing was bestowed upon me. Hey, I got that call. Do you want to go out with James Brown? And I looked, I was like, man, because I never thought I'd be, get those calls again,
Right, right, right,
not that, because I was cleaning me up. I was getting me together.
right.
And lo and behold, soon as I got out there, it was offered, offered,
Yeah,
offered. And
yeah,
I said,
yeah,
nope, nope,
yeah, yeah.
nope. And
Okay,
that's a test. And that's
okay.
the real test. And then right now today, it gives me opportunity to talk to you guys.
Mhm.
Because I wouldn't have been able to talk to you if I was still into that other thing.
I
No
got you.
way.
I got you.
Man.
Yeah.
I got you. Well,
Right.
I'm gonna ask DD, the professor, and Drew to give you a nice round of applause because you deserve it. You
Oh, I
deserve it.
appreciate that.
You
Thank you.
deserve it. You
Thank you.
deserve it. That's an awesome testimony, bro. And like I said, in this business, most of us here, and me being in the business as well, I know it's there. I know it's out there, regardless of what stage of life that you're in. I know it's there. Anytime the bright light shine, it's there. So for you to come through it and refuse it now, and now be able to talk about it and still go forward, that is truly, truly a blessing. And we tip our hats to you. Tip
Oh,
our hats
thank
to
you.
you,
Thank
bro.
you. And
Absolutely.
it's funny because of being on that side, and it was after I got with Brown, I feel a few of my friends that were police officers. I got together with police officers that wore uniform that played instruments, and we
Okay.
put together a band. And I worked with those guys to show a different side of policing, and we went around to the different schools, and I gave my testimony to them as well as to the kids, to let them know, this is no joke out here. You got to
Right.
really respect what's going on around you, and respect yourself first, because we're up against a whole lot, and
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you got to recognize, you know, all police officers aren't bad. You know, I had to really realize that it wasn't, you know, it was something like I said, hey, the next thing I know, me doing that, even working with James Brown, when the colonel of the police department retired, he became the director for security services for the county and the school system.
Okay.
He said, man, I got a job for you. He said, man, you'd be great for the kids. I said, what? He said, yeah, it's full benefits and everything. You can still do what you want. And I've been doing it for the past 15 years. PG County Public Schools with
That's
security.
awesome, that's
and
awesome.
that gives me, and then it gives me a roundabout way to talk to the kids, because then I tell them, hey, Google me. You know, when they're troubled or whatever, then that gives me an open door to talk to kids. And when they find out some of the background in which I've come from, I've seen kids make a total 365-degree turnaround. You know, I've had one kid that went to Suitland. You know, this bad kid turned around and got a full ride to Berkeley.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
You
awesome.
know?
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so, you know, it's those kind of things. And those are my rewards.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Great question, Drew. That is awesome. That's really, really awesome. Again, we tip our hat to you, man, for what you're doing, and we pray that you to give you strength to continue on, because it's not easy. It's truly, truly not easy. Yeah, it's truly not easy. DD, you got something, baby doll?
Now, it said, I read somewhere that you played with Lloyd Price. Now, that was one of my mom's favorite artists. Okay, she loved Lloyd Price. I got so sick of hearing his songs, but she loved Lloyd Price.
Man, and you talking about a beautiful guy. That guy was so, man. So I mean, that's why I say my blessings come from the people who pretty much made history.
Okay.
You know, in the music business, you know, and I was able to here, there, touch this one, touch that one, play with this one, that one, that. So yeah, and I'm still going on, trying to pick it up. Like Christian McBride, he's the new, you know, I tell you, he's old school, but he's new school. You know, he got it all.
Okay.
I respect that young man, you know, totally.
Okay. DD just brought up a name that I haven't heard in a little while. But I was friends with Lloyd Price as well. I was friends with him. What good guy, man. Really, really good guy. Really good guy. Really good. Professor, come on in, babe.
Okay, so your mother, I would say, gave you the name Robert. How did you get the name Mousey?
That was one of the little nicknames, you know, just around the, I was called a whole bunch of names by my family. They weren't too good, but when they got there, I said, I can deal with that. So everybody just started picking up on that name, you know, and I just stuck with it. You know, so, and that's everybody, you know. Then when they said Robert, I wouldn't even turn around.
All right. Good question, Professor. Drew, come on in, bro.
Hey, Mouse, take us back to the days when you began working with Skip Mahoney. How was it working with him, recording with him, and how was that able to become a springboard to your later associations with James Brown and Wilson Pickett?
Well, it was I don't know how I got with Skip. It was one of those things. I came over, started playing. It was I think a guy named Ronnie Campbell. And I didn't realize who I was playing with until I got there. You know, he said, man, I got a gig for you. I need you to come over. He sent me a bunch of songs. I learned them. Went over there. I know who Skip Mahoney and the Casuals were, but you know, I'd already, you know, that's from the first album, Funny Moods, Your Funny Mood. So I learned all the stuff. Next thing I know, we in the studio recording and just kept on moving, you know.
Okay.
But I enjoyed Skip. Skip was a different kind of guy, you know. And then from working with him, it was with Al Johnson, then Peaches and Herb, you know. And I'm doing a lot of things with like Dale Adams, Bobby Thurston, you know, doing a lot of recording.
Was Skip a disciplinarian like James Brown and Wilson Pickett?
No, man. I used to give them steps. You know, I was one who kind of showed them. Let me come on, man. Let me show y'all do some stuff. Remember, I danced, so I danced. You know, I was doing James Brown, and they took on a couple of little things I was doing. And I used to like working with Skip and the Casuals. And matter of fact, another group, and I forget half the groups that I work with, like the Montclairs. You know, Phil Perry. I work with them. So I mean, you know, seeing Steps, you know, I always wanted to do that. You know, I thought that was the cool thing, but I was always scared. You know, so me playing drums, I was able to give them the accents and the little nuances. You know, because that's how I felt if I was up there as a singer, this is how I would want a drummer to play. Right. So same thing like with Teddy Pendergrass, Jeffrey Osborne. We as drummers and that are vocal understand what the background needs to do. So
got it.
I like staying in the back now.
Yeah, the downbeat you were talking about, or what have you.
Right? Oh yeah, no doubt.
Okay. Before we go any further, Professor, that picture behind you, is that Mousey at an early age?
That's cool.
Mousey, where were you at with this? Do you remember this picture?
With the smile on my face. Yeah, that was, believe it or not, that was the groundbreaking of the Howard Theater.
Oh,
that was outside. Yeah, we were doing the ground. I've done the groundbreaking, the opening. I mean, I've been there so many times, you know.
Okay. All right. Yep. Fantastic. Well, leave it to Professor because she'll dig them up. I tell you, she will find them. She will definitely find them. Tell us a little bit about your work with Carla and
Rufus.
Yeah.
Carla man, that was great. It was a place here called the Penthouse, and at that time we had everybody come in. So that gave me the opportunity to work with a whole bunch of people like Rufus Thomas, Carla Thomas, Walter Jackson. I've done the Delphonics,
One of my favorite.
Delphonics, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. I play with everybody, man. The longer I sit here, the more I continue to think about it. I'm like, wow, I did work with them.
Okay. Now, you did one or two stints with Carla and Rufus, or was this a continue? Because I know they came from Stax.
No, anytime they came to town, I would work with them. I didn't really do any tour work with them, but when they were here, that was me playing drums with.
Okay. And you said you did a stint with Peaches and Herbs there for a little bit.
Yeah, that was the whole time doing Reunited, Shake Your Groove thing.
Okay.
You know, that was and then Bless, all the wedding songs and all that stuff, you know.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Dee, you got something for us?
No. Okay. Now, you know, you've done soul music. Any other music besides just soul or funk or whatever?
Yeah, right now, well, it's a record I did Black and I'm Proud over. I Say It Loud. I did Say It Loud, and I used the Go-Go All-Stars. I have DJ Cool, Jazz Funk, Sugar Bear, Chuck Brown's band. I'm playing. So, you know, pull that up when you get a chance. It's called Say It Loud. And I wanted to do something to represent, to keep James Brown's legacy of Black and I'm Proud with today's youth. And I'm really happy about it. It wasn't one that we put out there to try to make money off of. It's more or less the message to keep things rolling. And it's not going to hit now. It's going to hit later on. I think when people go back and listen to it, because the lyric content is so strong. I have nothing to do with the lyric content except I didn't want any cursing on it. I wanted a positive message, and I wanted something about the queens, our queens too, as well in the making of the song.
Okay.
So if you get a chance, pull that up. Say It Loud. Mousey Thompson and the Go-Go All-Stars.
Got you. Okay. Come on in, Drew.
During the pre-show, I heard you mention Skunk Baxter from the Doobie Brothers and working with the Black Eyed Peas. Are you still working with those guys?
I'm working with Jeff Skunk Baxter. We're doing a lot of stuff together. And not too much with the Black Eyed Peas. I haven't heard from Will I Am in a minute.
Okay.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Professor, come on in. I'm sorry, Drew, were you finished?
No, regarding Skunk Baxter, do you have new material out now working with him, or is this just like a one-off project that you had done previously?
No, we're still on. We're still traveling. We do a lot of things for like the veteran cancer research. We do a lot of things for a lot of those kind of things, and CES conventions, corporate events,
Okay.
But yeah, so we've done a thing with Charlie Colleen. We did what's that? Calling All Angels. We did that over. But there's no percussion or anything in it. But we are recording and doing some things too.
Okay. All right. All right. Before I go to the Professor Mousey, you have a website or a page that we can go to and check out and look at. Would you mind sharing that with us?
Man, it's just YouTube, and I got a lot of stuff out there. Just no particular page. I just Instagram, Facebook. Just the norm.
Just
easy to get to. Yeah.
Just look up Mousey Thompson, Robert Mousey Thompson.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Come on in, Professor.
Was there any particular drummer that you idolized when you decided that you wanted to make a career as a musician?
Good question.
Good question.
I love Buddy Rich. I love anybody who really actually played. Buddy Miles. I like Buddy Miles because he could sing.
Yeah.
And that was with Hendrix because I was doing the rock and roll era. And man, it's Billy Cobham. I can go on. Anybody that played, anybody got my attention that just tapped on a drum. Or tapped on a table. So there's no bad drummers to me. I always tell people I hear people, he can't play, but he may not have the skills but believe me, if you sit there long enough, you're going to hear something that you're going to take with you. And I don't cut anybody down that plays drums. I'm always a positive. I'll take what you got to offer. Trust me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mouse, where do you, at this point in your life, what plateau are you looking to ascertain? Where are you looking to go? What are you looking to, in other words, when you get ready to put the last period at the end of the chapter, what is it that you're looking to have ascertained? What plateau are you looking to accomplish?
Well, I just hope I was a reference guide to someone, as far as love and music, I don't know how to, because I'm doing God's work, it's not mine. I'm just doing his work, so I thank him. And it was a blessing to be able to make people move, touch them emotionally, ballads, fast songs, and to be able to have that kind of control, that's a creative spark, man. Drummers, that was the first line of communication.
Right.
And like I say once before, to play with all these icons and to be a part of that kind of history, I take it a little light because I'm a little modest. It's every day to me, but I recognize it,
Okay.
I definitely recognize it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, from mine and your conversation and the conversation that we've had here and the different research that I've done on you, you have done a tremendous work, and we tip our hat to you again, hoping that work continues on for as long as you wish to continue it, because it's a very, very positive thing. Very positive thing.
I just hope that the youth of today who play instruments, just continue to play music, because that is a creative release, from what we're going through right now. These kids need something. And that's what I tell them, just find your spark, and it gives me opportunity to help them find a creative spark. It doesn't have to be in music, just an ear, and you have to listen to this youth, man. That's what it's up to us now to help change them around, because they're not going to get it on their own. And if we continue to let technology teach them, they're not going to have anything. I mean, we're not going to get to all of them, but to the ones that can turn around and give something back, those are the ones I want. That's the ones I want.
Right. You made a very powerful statement that we're not going to get to all of them. And you also made a powerful statement about the technology. If we allow the technology to teach them, that's going to be a bad road. That's going to be a bad road. Technology is wonderful when it works, but I think that it should be on limited terms, because nothing beats, in my opinion, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm out of place. But common sense goes a long way. A long way. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't seem like with the technology that common sense is available too much anymore. You know what I'm saying?
No. I mean, they're indoctrinating our kids. And, one thing about getting in that position that I'm in as far as security, it gave me a look and like, wow, what is this going on? They took cursive writing out of schools. And I'm like, why? And I asked all the teachers, and they couldn't give me an answer. I'm like, but they can't read the Bill of Rights. They can't read the Constitution. They need to have this cursive writing because they're indoctrinating these kids anyway. So, I mean, but like I said, we have to show them how to write in cursive because what's left of our rights, they got to be able to know what it is. I got my baby here with me. He's
okay, very good point, my brother. Very well said and very good point. Very well said and good point. Drew, come on in, bro.
Mouse, do you have any upcoming projects, recordings, or concert appearances in the area where we can come check you out?
Yes, well, I'm in the DC area tomorrow. I'm doing the Warner Theater. This is like our little Broadway here, and that's with Glenn Leonard's Temptations, Tony Brooks, Blue Notes, and myself. Yeah.
Okay. Will that come eventually to the Philadelphia area where we're at?
Well, we're hoping that if this takes off, because I'm part of this production of trying to get this thing as far as one package to move it around. So we'll see how well this goes and how it's accepted, and then hopefully we can get there.
Okay.
I have to talk to you about bringing it.
Are you talking about the senior or the junior?
I'm sorry?
Glenn Leonard, senior or junior?
Oh, senior.
Okay.
Senior.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We had a son on recently as well, so it would be exciting to have you bring your talents up our way, man. So we could check you out and support you, man.
I appreciate it. Most definitely. I will definitely let you know when I'm coming.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Or either your next big show in DC, because maybe we could just do a day trip and come on down. You know what I mean?
Hey man, that would be nice.
Yeah, I ain't too far from running that way. You know what I mean? Definitely not.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Didi, you got something for us?
Now, did you ever do gospel? Have you did gospel as well?
Good question. Good question.
I was
going to come now. Good question.
I have. Who's that? Miss Campbell. I've worked with Miss Campbell. Is it Living in Vain? Who's that? I've done Shirley C's. I work with her.
Oh, wow.
Just in a church, we're just playing a couple of numbers, nothing on a regular. But yeah, I have. I played in churches. Yep. Okay. I play in church.
Okay. Let me ask you the age-old question. Did you start out, I'm talking about musically, in church, or was it you just picked it up along the side?
Just picked it up. Like I said, what made me start playing drums is the guy that was playing drums when I was doing my singing in James Brown. He wouldn't give me the accents that I needed when I went to do my splits and all of that stuff, side leg, and he wasn't giving it to me. So I just went behind the kit. I said, man, this is what I need you to do. And next thing I know, I started liking it. I said, oh, wait a minute, I like this. And I wound up convincing my mother to get me a drum kit. We're living in an apartment building.
Okay.
We got evicted because of me playing drums. I said, Mom, one day I'm going to get you out of this mess.
Okay.
And lo and behold, I did. But she was a school teacher. I didn't get her out, but we got out of there. But we got evicted, and y'all got to go. This boy making too much noise. So, but it all came into fruition of what I wanted to do, though.
Okay. Okay. You should take your drum kit back to the apartment and say, now what you got?
Oh yeah. Well, I did that. You know, it's funny because during that time I was in high school, and my teacher wouldn't teach me because I play open-handed and match grip. You know, totally wrong. You know, I'm on a right-handed kit playing left-handed. So that's how I've
Okay.
always played, you know, with my ride on the left. So he was like, man, I'm not teaching you until you want to. So my stubborn and my creative spark was like, no, I'm not going to allow, you know, the creator said, no, don't let this man mess your creative spark up. It was just uncomfortable. So he refused to teach me. And I was going to the school called School Without Walls. Fortunate enough, that's when I got the call to go out with Peaches and Herb. And I started going out with them. And I was mailing them my homework.
Okay.
Because it was that kind of school, you know, hard-headed kids, but could get the work done. And that was me.
Okay.
So,
Mousey,
you know.
Mousey, if you would, because I know there's a lot of people that are watching and listening that may not understand the drum lingo. Tell us what you mean by being a left-hand player on a right-handed kit. The kit is the drum, so we got that part. Tell us about being open-handed. Tell us about that, if you would. Explain that to us, if you would.
Well, you know, you come here, back. So you got. I'm gonna just hop behind here so you can see what's going on.
Okay.
So, so when you hear, come over here, baby. So most drummers play. Come over here so they can see me. Can y'all see me?
Yeah.
Can you see me? So most drummers play like this. Most drummers play like this, right?
Mousey, ask whoever's got the camera to point it down a little bit so we can
Down a little
see.
bit.
There you go. Yeah, a little bit more. A little bit more.
A little bit more. A little bit more.
There you go. There we go.
So most drummers play cross-handed.
Okay.
I play like this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Open-handed.
That's
But
called
now I am
open-handed.
ambidextrous. I'm ambidextrous, so I can go over here too as well. But most of the time, I'm over here.
Okay.
I'm over here most of the time, so it's like. You know.
Okay.
But he wanted me to play like this, you know, with my hands here, over here. And I'm like, now they make books about me playing match grip, not about me, but playing match grip style, because it's easier to get around the kit. You know, if you hear. But if I'm here, you know, I got to make an adjustment. But when being here, I can go all over the kit.
Okay. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, get a drummer some. Get a drummer some.
Yeah. Thank you,
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. You know, we've been
listening.
This
is the young lady that's holding the camera for me.
Hello,
that's
lady. How you doing?
All right.
Good to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
We've been listening to drummers for years. We've been watching them at shows, but there's so many of us that have no idea what you just explained. So I'm glad you took the time to explain it. We have a young lady here in the Philadelphia area, and I don't know if you know her or not. Her name is Tina Wu. She's a female.
That's my girl.
Yeah,
that's my girl.
Yeah.
Who don't love Tina Wu? They don't know nobody if they don't know Tina Wu.
Wow. Okay.
I was just with her last Friday, and she is a tremendous. And she used the term "staying in the pocket." So
that's right.
I asked her to explain what that meant, and the viewing audience, they just went crazy because we hear it, but nobody really knows what it means unless you're a drummer. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Tina's. I have to call her and tell her that we had you on. I have to call her and tell her.
That's the only lady I know the age is backwards.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, I do appreciate that demonstration. We're going to take our time and go around the room and do our goodbyes now. DD, you want to start us off?
Mr. Mousey, it was a pleasure talking to you and listening to your stories. And I always wanted to play the drums, but my mother said it wasn't ladylike.
Oh no!
Okay.
Look at
Oh, really?
Yes, she told me it wasn't ladylike. I had the piano. I didn't like it. I stayed with it for 2 months and didn't play nothing after that because
oh
I wanted to play the
Wow.
drums. The drums have always fascinated me.
yeah, you still got
Wow.
time. You still got time.
So,
Go grab some
yeah.
sticks and get a drum kit and play.
Okay, but it was a
Wow.
pleasure talking to you.
Ain't that
You as
something?
well. Thank you so
We
Well,
much.
you know, this was in the early 60s, and you know, everybody wanted their daughter to be ladylike. Okay.
right,
And
See?
that
right,
wasn't
right,
considered ladylike. Now they got
right.
women drummers all over, but you didn't see
And they
drummers
killing. And they are
back then.
killing.
Yes, you didn't see
Wow.
women drummers back then.
Right.
Oh
Wow,
yeah.
that's right.
Right.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah.
Hmm.
Ain't that
Criminals
something?
are awesome.
See that, Mousy? We've known Dee Dee for 116 years. Never knew that she wanted to be a drummer.
Yeah.
Well,
Never
you're
knew
gonna
that.
surprise them, Didi. We gonna get together. We're gonna show them how you play.
All right. Okay.
Oh man, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Mhm.
That is really awesome. Come on in, Professor.
It has been wonderful listening to you and learning about all of these other things that relate to drumming and your history. If you haven't, consider writing a book.
I have. People have come to me trying to get me to do it. They want to do a documentary. They want to do a little movie. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, it's overwhelming, because I mean, I like doing it like this, and hopefully, somebody, pull me aside and, hey, man, grab me by the collar and say, let's do this, but I want to do it right, it's just me.
Nobody can tell the story but you. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Come on in, Drew.
Yeah, Mousey, thank you so much for being with us and sharing your stories and for giving us, the audience, some. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother Drew. Thank you.
Mousy, I know that we'll keep in touch because I definitely want to find out where you're playing, if you're coming to this area, Philadelphia area, or if you're going to be locally, because we can all get in the car and just get together and come on down and hang out. You know what I'm saying? We can definitely do that. So I want to keep in touch with you on that essence, and then some of the legends like Maceo and Bootsy, I'd like to try to get in touch with them to do this, because this is what this show is all about. And I'm not bragging, but I'm very proud of these other folks, Dee Dee, the Professor, and Drew. We try to keep the music alive as best we can by talking to the artists. And as you well know, the artists are leaving here quickly. They're leaving here quickly. So once they close their eyes, their story cannot be told, truthfully by them. It can be told by somebody else, by interpretations or by whatever the case may be. But we try to get it as best we can, straight from the horse, as they say, because nobody can tell it like the Professor said. Nobody can tell it like you can tell it. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
With the little nuances and the things that happen. And this is not about slamming somebody or whatever. We like to go back behind the stage where things happen, and no, you won't find this on a CD cover or the back of an album. This is stuff that you actually lived, breathed, like you tell us about your addiction or whatever the case is. That's stuff that you're not going to find hardly anywhere. You have to tell that story, and we're very, very, very appreciative of you opening that part of your heart and your life up to us, man. We really are.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for the support. I mean, because it never ends. It only ends with you. It only ends with you. You have to take the support of people around you. Always be around positive energy. And just stay focused. Keep your life focused. That's all.
Well, we certainly are focused on what we consider the oldies, but more than that, good music and good people with the music.
I love what you guys are doing. I love it. I love it, man. I love it.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Well, we're going to try to do it as long as we possibly can. And let me just turn this to the close, if you will. But anyway, thank you again for joining us, my brother. And we appreciate you. and good luck to you going forward and everything that you're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had the pleasure of having Robert Mousey Thompson with us this evening. We gave the drummer some. That's what we did. We gave the drummer some tonight. And as Drew said, he gave us some.
Right on.
Tune in at 10 o'clock sharp, but it's 10 o'clock now. Tune in, WPPM 106.5 FM or phillycam.org/listen. My radio show from 10 p.m. until 2 a.m. Take care. God bless you. Have a great weekend. We love you. Next week, who I got next week? I forgot who I got next week. Let me tell you who I got next week. Follow me on Facebook because I don't know who it is. I got somebody next week. Follow me on Facebook. We'll tell you who it is. Everybody have a great weekend. We love you much. Ciao.
Come on.
Mouse, we love you, my brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Love you too. Take care now.
Thank you, Mouse.